Yo.
It comes.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Speaking words that will make you richer.
What's going on, everybody?
Justin.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Good to see you, man. What's going on in your world, Mitch?
A long week.
Long week? Well, it's almost over. Almost over. Tell me about it. Long week. What's going on, man? We're gonna do a role play today. Say
All
what?
right, cool. We turn off my phone. It's making noise. It's been a long week. Long week. Just calling and pulling lists and
Yeah. Good. Good. Any progress? Any problems? Either way?
nothing. Nobody willing to say, "Hey, let's do a deal." It's
Okay.
I'm getting the best response from the FISBO people in the Midwest. Really nice people. I've been noticing this. Maybe you've noticed this. I noticed the people in places like Vegas, Phoenix, Southern California, they respond better to texts, whereas the people in the Midwest seem to respond better to phone calls.
Okay.
And I get a
Yeah.
better response from the people in the Midwest. They're more open to talking, whereas the people in California and how'd you get my number? Fuck you, kind of like that. But I will say the FISBO people across whatever city I'm in are more apt to talk than the people you just hit up for cold calls, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Uh,
they're friendly, aren't they? These
well, yeah, they're
Midwesterns.
friendly because obviously they have an ad on Zillow or Craigslist, so they're more open to talking. A lot of them I'm finding are pretty unrealistic about their numbers. They want here and the values here, and I just kind of leave it like, okay, great. You know what? I'm probably not your buyer today. Let me give you a call in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good plan, man. They're asking too much more than what the house is worth, is what you're saying.
Two things. I think they're asking more than the houses. Yeah, like for example, there's this one guy in Bakersfield. He's got three houses. He wants to liquidate them. The market, I think he's got them listed around 250, 270. And they've been on the market going on 4 months. The market values are probably 30,000 less. And he said, you know what? I just want a cash offer. And I said, well, at that price, I'm not your guy. And he was the one who sent me a text and said, I don't want no fucking lease option bullshit.
I see. Yeah. That's interesting.
I said, all right, not a problem. I just kind of, I get a sense pretty quick if they're going to be difficult. And if they are, then I kind of switch into just fact-finding mode, building a rapport mode, and really leaving the door open for a future call because, unless they get some offer, they're going to be there in 30 days or 60 days. And, I'm going to be the guy that they're going to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not everybody's going to say yes, that's for sure. And some of these people have been called by someone else before about lease options, it sounds like, right?
I'm getting more of that. It's weird when I tell them I'm an investor. Some of the people, the first thing they say is, "I'm not doing a lease option." I'm like, "Wow, how would you even know that term?" Right? So civilians don't know that term.
They might have just got off the phone with me. Who knows?
Well, if they did, then the house would have been sold.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you're too kind. Too kind.
I'm telling like it is, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You're a sweet guy.
Well, I think there's a lot of how should I say this diplomatically? Beginners, and they come at it from the perspective of because I've talked to some of the homeowners like, "Hi, I'm an investor. You want to do a lease option? Okay, no, bye."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Goofy. Yeah, yeah. That's silly. I understand. I've seen some guys have virtual assistants that were doing that lately. At least that's what they told me. And
And I'm thinking of hiring some more. I'm interviewing a couple because I want to pull some bigger lists, and I can't call 5,000 people in a week. I would just spend 12 hours a day and go out of my mind. So I'm thinking of hiring some
Yeah.
VAs and doing some ringless voicemail and some texting. And, you know, I mean, I'll be honest with you, after you hear like a bunch of FUs all day long, it's hard to hit your desk at 7
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, man, for sure. Ringless voicemail's great still, and text blasting I use a lot too. But I've also got people that will call and pre-screen these leads for me too. So I'm not spending all the time doing all the heavy lifting here.
You mean virtual assistants?
Yeah, virtual assistant. Yeah, and really they're just on a fact-finding mission. We talked about this on Wednesday. Wednesday, I think it was. And yeah, so they pre-screen and kind of weed out some of the tire kickers and some of the people who said yes, but who knows why. You know what I mean? They said yes to the to the text message, but who knows why? So we've got some of that outsourced, and that's better for me because then I get to talk to the people who actually connected with the virtual assistant, had a decent conversation. Looks like there's some data there on this sheet that indicates that there may or may not be a deal here. I can either call them or not, right? You know.
Are you calling Zillow and Craigslist FISBOs, or are you pulling lists with pain points? Or
Yeah, I'm moving around a lot in doing the Craigslist and the Zillow scrape and blast from there. And you mentioned the cities that you were talking about, Las Vegas and Southern California and Phoenix and some other. I would still consider most of those pretty hot markets. You
that's what
know.
I mean. Those are really
Yeah.
probably in the top 10 of the most competitive markets. Even Bakersfield, California. You'd
Mm,
be surprised. It's one of the cities I'm targeting. Very, very competitive.
yeah.
San Diego, I don't even touch San Diego. There's not a lot of deals here. Very competitive. Phoenix, it's got to be in the top three. It's just
Oh
everybody.
yeah, it's pretty hot too. It doesn't look hot sometimes on the data because Phoenix has a lot of hood. And that's what I figure at least. I lived in Phoenix for just a brief little bit, and I think that's a accurate estimate. There's a lot of really nice suburban areas there, like upscale, expensive, competitive, which is funny because during the 2008 crash, they really took a big hit down there, and they were almost giving these houses away.
I was there.
And hmm
I was there
and
buying them at $30,000 and $40,000 that are now
yeah,
250.
uh-huh, really nice stuff, and incredible just the prices. It was like people were moving to Phoenix area just because the houses there were so nice and so damn cheap.
They still are. A lot of Californians are moving there and Texas because you can still get a pretty decent house for about 250. Nice working
Yeah,
class, 3 bedroom, two
yeah,
bath, 1,400 square foot ranch house in a nice middle class neighborhood. You can still get those even
yeah,
today.
yeah.
And the
And
market is just
a lot of these neighborhoods down there have community pools and some nice things going on in that respect, and schools are pretty close, and it's
Phoenix is
a
massive.
it's a huge place. And but when you go down into the Phoenix, Arizona, like proper, like down in the city,
You're talking
it's
Maryvale. That's the bad part,
it's
Maryvale.
pretty rough.
I won't go there.
Yeah, like I one time I stopped at a gas station. Like I lived in Surprise, so I was north of Phoenix in a nice little suburb. In fact, I moved from Kansas City down there for just a little bit, and Kansas City Royals, the baseball team, they do their spring training down there in Surprise. So I had a house like right across from where the practice field was, and it was pretty
Nice.
cool. And so, um, yeah, great area, very nice area. But then down in the city, Phoenix, I was down there. I just stopped at a gas station, needed to go in. I wanted to grab a Coke, I think a beef jerky, And I'm coming out of the gas station. This guy's like, "Hey, hey!" I'm like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" And I I turn around and he walks up to me. He goes, "Hey, man, you want to buy some crack?"
So how much
I,
did you get?
I was like, "Hell yeah!" No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't buy any crack. No, no. But yeah, Phoenix is an interesting town. I would still rank it up there pretty high. It's kind of like Atlanta. It's pretty hot right now. Vegas is definitely hot. L.A., San Diego for sure. A lot of Southern California is. So I agree with you, man. The Midwestern people. That's why I talk about my bread and butter is these Midwestern guys, blue collar flyover states. But even then, you have to find a motivated seller, right? You can't just find any old local yokel. They got to be wanting to do the deal.
A lot of people are pretty educated these days. They have a pretty good idea what their house is worth, and they know the lingo. Either they've talked to a lot of investors. When people say, "I'm not doing a 3-year lease option," wow, where'd you learn that?
Yeah. You know, the sad part about that is they probably don't really fully understand what they're saying no to. They just, like you said, had a run in with some ding dong,
No,
or some.
I've got to reverse everything that they've done,
Yeah,
because you're absolutely right. I found people that have a knee jerk reaction to whatever, and then I've asked a couple people, "Tell me why you don't like that," and they don't have a good answer, or they'll say something like, "Well, this guy told me this, this, and this." I'm like, "Well, that's not how it works."
right, right. Yep. I was talking to a student of mine. I don't remember who it was, but they said I had a virtual assistant making calls for me, pre-screening some leads or doing some cold calling, and they were just getting a seller on the phone and saying, "Hey, would you be interested in a lease option?" No, you wouldn't. Okay, have a great day. It's like, uh, whoa, that's not the right way to do it. Like, that's burning through leads really fast. So I think I told that guy to just wait, call them same leads back again later, and act like he's somebody else. Uh, there's a bit of an art to it, guys. Somebody told me the other day. They said, I've been studying you and I've been watching you. We've been role playing together and practicing. And he said, I thought this was really easy when I started. He said, in the words, I'm talking about the call itself, the seller call. And he's like, but there's some ninja shit going on here, man. I don't know about that.
Every time I get on the phone, I learn something. I talk to people in a different way, and the way I was talking to them a month ago is a whole lot different than the way I'm talking today. I'm taking just a much more chill attitude. I'm trying to just,
Oh yeah,
like, have a conversation like I'm talking to my grandmother. I'm not pushing anything. I'm really not there to sell. The way I kind of see it is when I pick up the phone, I'm there to find out, do you have a need? Do you have a problem that I can solve? So I see
yeah,
myself really as a problem solver. And I'll be honest, I'll say, you know what? You're doing the right thing. List it with a realtor. I'm not your guy. You don't have a
yeah,
problem I can solve.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You are a problem solver. I was talking about that earlier with somebody else. I don't know. I was saying, as a real estate investor, your job is to solve problems. You're a creative problem solver here.
It just happens to be real estate.
Yeah, yeah,
The what we're working against is there's a connotation of real estate investors, and some bad apples out there. So a lot of people are very defensive at first, and so you have to kind of get through that a little bit,
yeah, yeah. That's
and,
so
and let them
true.
know that you're the good sheep, not the bad sheep.
Yeah. I'm starting to toy around with the idea, just the idea. Haven't done it yet, but I'm starting to toy around with the idea that when we do the agenda part of the phone call and we say, "Hello, is this owner of 123 Apple Cart?" It is. Okay, wonderful. Hi, my name is Justin. I'm a real estate investor looking to get my next property deal. I'm toying around with the idea of leaving that part out, at
I
least
don't say that
initially.
anymore.
Yeah. Because I'm getting a little bit what you're getting too. There's so many people calling now, announcing themselves, texting now, announcing themselves as a real estate investor that it almost becomes a red flag in these people's minds because there are a lot of yo-yos out there doing this wrong, like telling everybody, hey, I'm a real estate investor. Let me embarrass the entire community before we get off the phone here today.
Think about it. Put yourself in that person's shoes. If someone calls me and says, I'm a real estate investor and I want to buy a piece of property, so now it's not about me anymore. It's about what your bank account. So now my defenses are up. You're just trying to make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. 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 So a lot of times I'm lately considering just dropping that, and not dropping it like I'm never going to tell them I'm an investor or anything like that. But more easing into that part of it, and I'm still thinking through the best way to pull that off. But I think you're right. There's been a lot of bad people, or not bad people, but bad sales people calling. They're bad at sales, and some of these folks are getting wore out with it, man. Some of them are. But there's a lot out there that haven't heard from anybody too.
This is a great question because at some point in the next week or two, I'm going to bring on some BAs, and I need to tell them what to say. I need to give them
Yeah,
the script of what to say,
yeah.
and so I'm kind of working through that. What's the best way to approach it?
Oh yeah, Wednesday we did this. We answered that question for the whole hour. I went through the script and everything, man. Um, definitely, um, definitely went through the script. So you got to check that out. I even got demonetized on YouTube with that video and everything. It was that hot.
What does that mean?
That means I dropped the F bomb too many times or something happened like that.
You?
Something happened, man, and they demonetized that video. But yeah, you got to go to the private group Facebook page because it's still there and slide down. It was called Virtual Assistant Pre-Screening Seller Leads script, and we go through it. There's a script that you've got access to, at least if you want to use mine. And I went through it word for word and talked about how the virtual assistant ought to do it. I thought it was one of the better trainings that I've ever done, and I got demonetized right away for saying the S word and the F word. It's not uncommon for me now. Last week I got demonetized for saying dirty butt sluts. So it looks like I'm getting demonetized again today because you dropped the F bomb already once, Mitch.
Haven't demonetized me. I apologize.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. No, it's all good, man. Don't worry. Um, all right, but great question, man. Check that video out. I think that'll really fill in the blanks for you, though. But I do want to role play today, guys, because it's Friday, and I love to role play on Friday. I want you guys to feel free to unmute your microphones, everybody that's here in the room with me. And we got like quite a few people, not just Mitch and me, but Tim and Aisha and Rocky and Donald and somebody named Tanya. I'm not sure who you are, but welcome, Tanya. Oh, there you are, man. It's Jimmy. All right. I got to unmute your microphone so I can hear you, man. What's going on, dude?
It's going great. Everything's going great. Appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, it's good to see you again. Hey, I don't know if you
Fucking
did
love
you
it.
yeah, did you meet Mitch last week? Or Mitch, did you meet Jimmy?
No, I didn't meet Mitch. How you
Hey,
Oh,
doing?
Jimmy. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
I'd like you guys to role play today, both of you, if you can, and you're willing to with me,
Always.
um, because Mitch is pretty darn good, and Jimmy
Learn it.
is pretty darn good too, and he's got his own speed and his own style, and that's what I like about Jimmy. Um, when you get off the phone with Jimmy doing a role play, you say, "Man, that guy really did it the way Jimmy does it." Like, and man, I like want to be a little bit more like Jimmy.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
uh, yeah, he's got a real good style. So I'm glad you're here, man. It's such a blessing. And
No problem.
but anybody else that wants to participate, feel free to jump in here too. My idea for today is to talk about how in the closing section of the phone call, you get on the phone call, you have an agenda you set. You introduce yourself, you say, I want to ask some questions, find out a little about the property, and if I'm not a good fit, you can fire me. You tell me no. Now, then you move into the qualification section where you ask some questions, like how long have you lived in the property? Why would you be wanting to sell? Um, let's see what happened here. I lost my camera. Hope everybody can still hear me, even though I lost camera.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, uh, great. So in the agenda section, you're introducing yourself, setting the roadmap. In the qualification section, you're definitely asking these questions. How long have you owned the property? When will you? Why are you wanting to sell? When are you wanting to sell? Is this something that you need to do today or next month or next year? Find out anything else you want to know. You're trying to determine motivation. You're also trying to determine, if they are ready to do something pretty quickly or not, and what kind of offer you're going to make. Is this a cash offer, a discounted ugly house kind of thing, or is this a pretty house creative kind of solution you'll have to go with? So that's all in the qualification section. Then you move into the closing section, and in the closing section, this is where you recap their story, right? All that you found out so far, you recap that. Then you offer to solve that problem. And when you offer to solve that problem, then you tie it down with a closing question like, is that something we can talk about further? Is that something that would work? Is that something that would solve your problem? Is that something we could move forward with? A closing question. If you forget the closing question, then it's like putting on your shoes and forgetting to tie them, right? You might trip up later. Don't do it. So after that, though, after you've done that, usually there's some questions and some objections and some stalls that come from the seller or the prospect here. And so you're going to need to address some of those things. And then I always encourage everybody to strengthen the close, right? Strengthen the close. But here's the question. How do you take a homeowner who is only interested in a cash offer? You get into this closing stage of the conversation. They only are interested in cash. How do you bring up the subject of lease option? How do you bring it up? Now, we've already talked about already in this that you don't do it like these virtual assistants we caught, or somebody caught the other day, where they just dial the number and, hello, would you be interested in a lease option? Oh, no, you wouldn't? Okay, great. Man, I'm running through these numbers fast. I'm going to be done in no time, honey. We can go have lunch early.
That's so true.
you know? Uh, so that's the wrong way to do it. What's the right way to do it? And anybody have any ideas or thoughts? I can share with you what mine is.
What's yours?
What I do is in the closing section, I will talk about, their problem. I'll recap it. I'll offer to solve an issue for them. And they'll come out with something like, well, I'm only interested in cash. I need a cash offer. If you're willing to make a cash offer close to what I'm asking, I mean, absolutely. How many of us have heard that? Right? Like every one of us, right?
Right.
And that's a no-brainer, right? I just want to smack myself in the face and say, duh, Mr. Homeowner. No kidding. If I offer you something close to what you're already asking, you think you may consider that? It's kind of an obvious conclusion. So when they're in that situation, bringing that cash only kind of thing to me, I'll say, Mr. Homeowner, I understand completely where you're coming from, and it sounds like to me you need an all cash offer and something close to what your asking price is. Unfortunately, we have a problem, Mr. Homeowner. That's not going to be a good fit for me. I'm an investor, and I'm looking to get an investment property, and I kind of want to make a profit here. So it's not a good fit. I need to take this off the table and just call it over. It sounds like it's over to me. But real quickly before I go, if I were able to give you that full asking price, would you be willing to do something creative with me for a short while, maybe 24 months? Like lease it or be the bank to me? Would that be something we could talk about further or maybe not? Okay. They may tell you no. And if they tell you no, then you know that it's dead. It's pretty much dead, right? No means no means no, right? If they say it over and over and over, what can you do?
Can't do anything.
Yeah. But if you take it off the table, the cash offer, it's not a good fit. Now, real quickly before I go, if I were able to give you that cash price, would you be willing to let me do that in 24 months? And could we do something creative in the meantime? Is that something we could talk about today or probably not? Now, that's a Columbo move, right? You know Columbo from the old show?
Yeah.
Like he'd be talking, detective guy, he'd be talking up with somebody and then he'd start to walk away. Oh, real quick before I go, one last question. And it was always the hard hitter. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a Columbo strategy there. But that's what I do. It brings up the topic of a lease option. And if I've done a good job of making this person comfortable, and I've also got their story and their situation, and if I've done a good job at touching some motivation level in that conversation, this will further pull them out into the direction I want to go. Okay, if it's like I said though, if it's a no, it's a no, and they might end the conversation for me here. But this also might really open up an opportunity for us to discuss something further that would work. Okay, that's how I make the transition. Does anybody else have anything that they're doing to breach the subject of a lease option with a seller who's pretty insistent on wanting a cash offer? Anybody else got a strategy they're working or a
Like,
technique that they're using?
okay, like how I normally do it is that I would actually say, you know what, Mr. Seller, um, I go in with the match, and let's say we can actually wrap this up 30 days where we talk about the pain. You get to move on with your life. And you mentioned that you got the newborn coming, and you would like to be in a new home within 30 days. Let's imagine we can wrap this up in 30 days. What's the best you can do? So once she give me an offer, I said, well, normally like I mentioned, I'm an investor where we typically look for price or terms. Normally, with previous clients that I deal with, I normally purchase between uh, this amount and this amount. Is that something you'll be comfortable with as a cash? Now, since she said, remind you, we already know it's a mortgage, etc., because we actually extract all that information from her. So that's when I said, you know what, ma'am, it sounds like it's actually over. And then when she said yes, it's like, I said, what, ma'am, uh, you know, ma'am, and I totally understand. I might have another option. Is it okay? I can run that by you. And then she would say sure, or he would say sure. I said, would you consider, I said, let's say we're able to get you close to what you're asking for. Or let's say we're able to get you a number that makes sense for you and I. Would you consider, renting it for a few years and then selling it? And then when I hear what she said, when you say that, I break down, and then after that, if they're okay with that, that's when we go to the closing.
Yeah, that's a little bit like the Columbo move.
Yeah,
You see what I'm talking about? Jimmy's got his own style going.
yeah,
He's, he's,
that's how I do it.
he puts his personality into it, man. He puts his swagger into it, right?
Correct. Yeah,
He's dripping that swagoo.
that's swag. That's swag.
uh,
Of course,
his
that's how I actually do it. Because I know deep down inside with the offer is just a bait. It's to hear what they have, but I
yeah,
extracted enough information. It could probably be a lease option. If it's a mortgage, I could probably do a subject to. It all depends on the situation. But I just make that offer as a bait, and then after that, I go in.
yeah, Yep, that's a good one. It's a good one, real good one. That's strong. How do you feel about that, Mitch? What do you think? What's your opinions on his strategy there?
Love it. It's great.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, I like it because he's covering both the cash offer and the lease option offer too here.
Yeah.
I
You
think you
know,
have to. I think you
yeah,
have to.
yeah, yeah. That's a step that I wasn't doing in mine. See, I've been doing the same kind of technique, but I haven't been going with the price range. I got another guy that's in the club that does this too. His name is Arturo Ace. He comes on. He shows up as Ace.
Yeah.
He does the range too, and he really likes doing that. Man, there's something to be said about it. If two guys like that technique, there must be something to it. And I might test around with it a little bit myself. I love these I love these sessions because man, we all I always pick up something. Um,
Right. I do.
yeah. So hey, Mr. Thinker in the YouTube said Jimmy, aka Smooth as Butter.
I appreciate it. Steady working on it. That's all it is. Just steady working. That's all.
Uh,
Every single day.
uh, that's what it takes. You're right.
Yeah.
Mitch, do you have a strategy or anything that you've been working on for introducing lease options to sellers that just want? How do you broach the conversation with a seller who just says, "Oh, I'm looking for a cash offer today. I would do one if it's close to what I'm asking. I definitely, we definitely do it. I mean, we want to move. There's some motivation here. Maybe it's not a lot of motivation, but there's some motivation going on. How do you bring up lease options? And how do you bring this up without sounding like everyone else, right?
Yeah.
I don't bring up a particular. See, to me, lease options is one of several dispo strategies. So I don't bring up any. So I'll start with, again, if it's a Zillow ad and they want an offer, and if they say we want a cash offer, and I'll say, basically there's two ways I can buy this. I can buy it for cash. We can close it in 10 days. We'll get it done. Happy to do all that. But, sir, it's probably going to be at a level that is going to be insulting to you. It's going to be at a level that you would consider a low ball offer. So if you want
Yeah.
to go there, we can do there. But you seem like you know what you want, and I don't want to insult you there. The other way we buy is we can buy pretty close to your ask price, possibly even more, if you're open to doing something creative and accepting terms.
Yeah.
Shut up. And then the
That's
question is, well, what do you mean by terms? I'm glad you asked that, sir. So then we get into what that
Okay.
means. And terms could be lease option, it could be subject to, it could be
Yeah.
seller finance,
Yeah.
it could be a wrap. I mean, so at that point, I'll start digging a little bit deeper. I'll give them kind of an overview of what terms are. Basically, you're going to accept payments over time. But so then to understand which of the different dispos are best for them, I need to know, do you have any equity? So let's say they have zero equity. Okay, so I know that it's going to be a subject to.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I would want to do.
Okay.
Lease option, you can do that also. If they, on the other extreme, if they have a lot of equity, okay, would you be open to taking, some money down now, and we pay off this whole thing in maybe 5, maybe 10 years, and you finance us? You become the bank of Justin? How does that sound, sir? Would you like to get checks every month?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question.
The
I
bank
like
of
it.
Justin. How does that sound to you, sir?
That sounds good to me, man. Is that where I can go and just take withdrawals whenever I need it?
We're going to send it right to your bank, or if you like, we can send it to your title company. We can make those checks happen every month.
Yeah,
Or
pretty.
it could be a hybrid situation where they have a mortgage and some equity, so we've got to buy out the equity. So we'll take the mortgage over subject to, basically,
Yeah.
we know you've been having trouble with those payments. How about we take over those payments to you every month, plus we give you a check every month in your bank account. How does that sound? And then you get your full price.
That's what I call a multi-mortgage owner finance. Yeah. Multi-mortgage. You got the subject to going on, but you've also got a second mortgage going to the homeowner, right? That's what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah.
Yeah, a second,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I jumped ahead. So before I even get there, I really, really, really have to be clear on what are their pain points? What's their motivation? Because if I don't know that, and a lot of
Correct.
people won't tell you, maybe not even on the first or the second phone call. I've had
Yeah.
people say, I just want to move.
Yeah.
And then on the third phone call, then you find out, well, you're really going through a divorce and you're filing bankruptcy. Okay, that's a different thing. So to the extent possible, I really need to understand their motivation. Oh, hey, Mr. Chamness, I noticed your property on Zillow. It's been there 4 months. What do you think's going on? Why? It seems like a great house. Why do you think it's taken so long?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a
Or,
good
why didn't you
question.
list it with a realtor?
Right.
So what I
Right.
try and do is disqualify myself. I'm looking for the reasons you don't want to do business with me. Because what I've learned is when I try and I'm using your term, Justin, when I try and
Mm-hmm.
explain,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you chase the dog, it runs. And when
Mm-hmm.
you run, the dog chases you.
Yeah.
So I try and just find out why
Yeah.
you shouldn't be working with me as
Yeah.
opposed to trying to sell myself. Because you can't push yourself and
Yeah.
sell it.
Great analogy. Anybody that's ever trained a dog knows you don't teach a dog to come by walking towards the dog. You teach a dog to come by saying, come with a treat in your hand, walking away.
That treat is a check for $500 in the mail, sir.
Yes.
Makes sense.
How
The
does that
dog
taste?
the dog is
Makes
smart
sense.
enough to know if I follow, I get treat,
I get a
right?
Every
treat. Yeah.
month.
What do you call a dog with no legs?
Phil.
What do you call a dog with no legs? You call him Phil? Is that what you said?
Phil.
What do you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter what you call him. He ain't gonna come. Okay. Sorry, horrible joke. Horrible joke.
It's like that joke. What do you call a dog in the water with no legs?
All right, so make sure your seller has legs and you have a treat in your hand. I'm just teasing, guys.
I think to the extent that you can build some rapport, um, find out what's their agenda really. And I'm learning. I'm becoming less robotic and just ask them, what do you want to accomplish here, sir? What do you want to accomplish? You just want to sell it, okay? What are your plans for the money? You're going to go buy a double wide, or where are you going next? I want to understand, what are you trying to accomplish?
Hmm.
I'm here to solve problems.
Yeah,
I might even start saying that, like, I'm not a real estate investor. I am a problem solver. Help me understand what you're trying to accomplish. I might not be the right guy, and if I'm not, I got people that are younger, smarter, and better looking than me that could probably help you.
yeah, I agree with you 100%. Before we jump into this role play, you reminded me of something. Have you guys ever watched my 600-pound life show on TLC or wherever it is? My 600-pound
I've
life.
heard about it. I've heard
It's
about it.
yeah, it's about these people who have just grown huge with their eating issues, and they go to this doctor. They all go to the same doctor down in Texas, and this doctor is a great example for us as real estate investors making phone calls to homeowners. This doctor asks a lot of questions, but he is the firmest doctor I have ever seen. He's like, Lisa, you have a problem and you continue to do the way you are doing and you will be dead. I'm trying to help you, so you must do what I'm asking you. Like I'm like, golly, I love it. I wish we all had the guts to be like that guy. you know uh and he is, he's honest, he's being real, he is trying to help these people, and he's letting them expose their problem, right? And then he's saying, okay, now that we've got a problem, this is what needs to happen. If you want to save the problem, I can help you, but you need to work with me here. And man, that's a great attitude to have when you're going into these calls. All right, I said we were going to role play, and now we're just talking it up like this about it. But let's role play it once or twice, guys. You guys want to role play together?
Before I forget, I just
Yeah.
want to say, and this is probably not the focus of today, but maybe later. I was following the chat last night. You're talking about Facebook group ads. That sounded really interesting. I'd like to learn about that. That sounds like it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. That was the Brandon Simmons brought that up, and
Yeah, yeah, he knows what
he's
he's doing.
yeah, he's a very very talented, very successful wholesaler in the country here, and well recognized coach, and just an honor to have him around. To be honest with you, and yeah, he was talking about doing that. I'd like to learn more too. I can tell you what little I know about it, but he probably knows more.
Yeah, I don't want to take us off track. I just maybe I'll go offline with you and learn about that a little bit. It seems like
Yeah,
a good way to do it.
yeah, that's cool.
Jimmy, you want me to be the homeowner and you give me a call?
No, I can actually be the homeowner.
You want to be the homeowner? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say you got a property on Zillow and we'll just, kind of go from there.
Okay.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Mitch. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. Good to meet you. Hey, Jimmy, I represent a few families looking to move in your area, and we're having some trouble finding some good properties on the market. We saw your property on Zillow, and it looked like something that might fit one of my clients. I looked at it a couple of days ago. Is that property still for sale?
Yes, it's actually still available.
Oh, phenomenal. You got a few minutes to talk? I'd like to ask you a little bit about the property, learn about what you want to achieve there, and see if, maybe I'm the right buyer, maybe I'm the not, see if we're a good fit, and ask me some questions. And if you don't like what you hear, we'll hang up and go somewhere else. How's that sound, sir?
That sounds great. Appreciate it.
Got it. Got it. First, let me ask you, I saw the pictures. It looks like it's pretty nice. Did you recently rehab that property?
Yes, we actually rehabbed it, 3 months ago. The kitchen, the bathroom. We actually changed the roof as well. House is in great condition.
So you probably spent about 20, 30,000 there. That's about right?
Yeah, we spent at least around 20 to 30. Really, you could say about 35,000.
Did you do this yourself? Because it looks like some pretty good work there.
No, not me.
Not you. I might have to get the
Not
name
me.
of your GC after this phone call. He looks like he did some good work there, Jimmy.
Of course, yes.
Now the pictures, it looks like it's vacant. So are you living there or is it rented?
The property is actually vacant right about now.
Got it. How long has it been vacant? Because the property, if, I'm looking here, it's been on the market going on 140 days, I think. Has it been vacant that long?
It's been vacant that long.
What's going on in the market there? That's a great area.
Now, I'm not sure. I get a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of people inquiring about the property, but nobody not interested in buying. That's all it is.
Did you try and rent it?
No, I haven't thought about that.
Is that something you consider?
No, actually, I really want just the cash.
Oh, you're going to go to Vegas and spend it all, aren't you?
Not really, just important issues. That's all. That's all it is. Important
Yeah.
things that I gotta work out. That's all.
You looking to buy another house in another part of the country? You're just getting out of California here.
No, I'm actually gonna use the money. So, I got health issues, so
Oh,
need
I'm
the
sorry to
money to
hear
pay
that,
down
sir.
a little health, debts and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely need that kind of stuff. That's important. So your objective is you want to get this thing sold fast.
Correct, if
Got
possible.
it. Got it. And you want cash, full cash.
Correct.
Got it. Are you open to anything else?
When you say anything else, what is it that you mean?
That's a great question. Well, let me ask you this first. You want cash. I think the property, let me look here. It's listed at 275. Is that still the current price?
Yes, it's actually still the current price right now.
Okay, good, good. And I see that price has been pretty consistent for the last 4 months. Is there, look, I'm an investor, so I make my money by buying low and selling high. How much flexibility do you have on that price, or are you looking to get pretty close to that ask price?
To be honest, I'm actually looking to get pretty close to the 275. Nothing
I,
more,
I,
nothing less.
I can't say I blame you. Let me ask you this, though. Did you think about putting it on the MLS with a realtor and just moving it quick? It's a great looking property.
Yeah, I really don't got time to deal with an agent. I get a lot of calls from agents,
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just so aggravating.
Okay, good. It looks like a great property at 275. I'm probably not your buyer. I'm an investor and we can definitely do a cash offer. My concern is it's going to be what you would consider a low offer because, we have to buy it and fix, it doesn't have to be fixed up, but we would have to turn it and put people in there. So we'd have to make some money. I'm probably not your buyer at a cash offer. However, I might be able to get you 275, close to it, possibly even more if you're open to doing something a little bit more creative. Would you be willing to accept terms on
Smooth.
that property?
Smooth. I love it. Butter.
When you say terms, like what type of terms you're talking about, what you're referring to?
Oh, that's a great question. Basically, if we can get you 275 or more, we would be paying your monthly payments over time. We'd be giving you payments to pay it off. And that way you get your money. We can give you some money now. I know you've got some health issues, and so you need some cash to get going and take care of that. So we can work that out and then get you some payments over time. Is that something within the realm of possibility you'd like to learn a little bit more about? We can do some deep dive on that.
Uh, I don't think it's going to benefit me. I'm actually looking for cash, and 275, that's what I really want to walk away with. Can
I
you buy that 275?
Yeah, like I said, I could buy it at 275, but not a cash offer.
Okay.
So let me make sure I understand. You want a cash offer, 275. You're not open to taking a chunk of money down and getting that rest of that 275 over time. Totally fine. Another thing we can talk about, one other option, no pun intended, is I'm probably not the right guy, but I have some
Right.
partners that work around that do those types of deals. What I can do, if you're open to this, if you can give me an option, a 30-day option, it binds you to nothing, gives me the ability to bring in a buyer who would pay 275 or close to it, and then I bring you the buyer. Is that something of interest?
Is it going to be cash?
I can't promise you at this point, but that's how I would market it. I would only bring you people that would pay you a 275 cash offer. And by doing that, you're not paying realtors commissions, you're not paying closing costs, there's no fix up. Basically, I handle all that for you. And if I can't get you a buyer at your price, you won't hear from me.
Okay,
Costs you nothing.
okay, let's pretend that you're able to bring a buyer for 275 within 30 days. Will the buyer be able to close within 30 days if you're able to bring in the buyer at 275?
Well, if I bring the buyer in tomorrow, if they're going to get a mortgage, it usually takes about 3 weeks to get a mortgage for any buyer. If someone else called you today and they go through Bank of America, with this whole COVID-19 thing, the banks are a little bit slower,
Right.
the title companies. So that's really out of our control. My
Okay.
job would bring you a buyer who gives you your number. And then at that point, it's pretty much out of our control on how long it takes to close. I would say expect 60 days just to play it safe, but you're not under any obligation, until you sign a contract with that buyer.
Got you.
But whether you sign a buyer who came to you on Zillow or one of my buyers, it's going to be the same process either way.
Okay, then I see. Well, let me
So
just think
that's
about
another.
it.
You don't have to decide
All
right
right.
now. You can think
Let me
about it.
think about it.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't you think about it? And is there anybody else involved in this, or is this just you?
It's actually me.
Okay, good. It's Friday now. How about I give you a call on Sunday and we can talk a little bit more? I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of questions, and I love those questions. I like the really difficult questions, and we go from there and talk a little bit more. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Jimmy, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'll give you a call on Sunday, my man, 10 o'clock in the morning, right after
No
church.
problem. No problem. Sounds good.
All right, good.
I like talking with Jimmy.
Yeah, tough cookie though a little bit.
It's tough.
However, I would put this seller in the follow-up bin, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm learning now is 3 weeks ago, I would have just worked it and worked it and worked it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know what? If you don't want a cash offer, you don't want to do
Bye.
business, you know what?
Bye.
Let's keep the door open
And keep calling.
and keep calling, because you know what? No means no today. It might mean yes in 3 days.
Right.
Yeah, that's so
You did a
true.
great job, Jimmy. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let's flip the script and go the other direction real quick.
Jimmy, what's the scenario would you like me to be under?
Shit. Go ahead. I'm actually looking to my scenario is that I'm relocating for another job.
That's who you want
And
me to be?
no, I'm actually the seller. I'm relocating to another job. You're calling
You're gonna be
me.
the buyer. I'm
You're
the
the
seller.
buyer. No, you're the buyer. You're actually calling as the buyer, and I'm the seller. And I really need to relocate. I'm turning it around.
No, what I was, he was calling you on the last one. I was asking y'all if y'all want to switch roles.
Right. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to be the seller.
Okay, then go ahead.
So you call me. First of all, how difficult do you want me to be on a scale of 10, 10 being the worst guy you've ever talked to?
It doesn't matter. Let's see what we got to do.
All right.
I like it. That's great, guys. All right.
All right.
Wait a minute. Ring, ring. Hold on. That's the phone.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, hello, Mitch.
Who's this?
It's Jimmy. How you doing?
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Contave. I, I know that
How'd
you
you get,
got.
how'd you get my number, man?
It's actually public records.
No, my number's on the DNC.
Oh man. Well, for some reason I see it's actually advertised and stuff like that. I don't know. Were you selling a property? Are you thinking about selling a property?
Yeah, I got it on Zillow, but you know what? I'm getting all these Yahoo investors calling me trying to buy my house for 60 cents on the dollar. You're not going to waste my time with that crap, are you?
Well, to be honest, I'm actually one of those that's actually do buy at 60, 70 cents. Uh, but with this situation, it sounds like you're looking close to a certain amount. Do you have a few minutes so I can ask you some questions and see if it's something I could be able to, make
You,
an
you,
offer
you,
on?
got, you got you got 3 minutes, man. I've talked to so many investors all day long, so I don't need a discount offer. If I needed
That's
that, I could just
good.
drop the price to 60 cents and do it myself. So
And I
I'm not here to
appreciate
make
it.
you rich.
And
Good.
Mitch,
Unless you got 300,000 and you want to do this deal, don't waste my freaking time. All right?
I appreciate you being honest and upfront.
Thank you,
And
man.
so go ahead and tell me, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you actually rate the condition of the property?
I just did a rehab 3 years ago. I'm a general contractor, so the house is in great. Put all new plumbing in, PEX pipe. We did the whole thing. New roof. It's ready to go.
Oh man, Mitch, it sounds like you in the business. You actually understand the process, right? Buying
Yes,
and
I
selling.
do. Yeah, I've got a couple rentals myself.
Okay, man, I'm just curious. Why would you want to sell it? It's a nice house. Why not hold on to another rental?
Yeah, I got some personal issues I don't want to share with you right now, but I need to get out of this one. We need to liquidate.
Yeah, and I totally understand, man. Just sometimes you just might have to, liquidate to have some more cash flow so you can do some more investment. I understand where you're coming from. So when are you looking to sell?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? I don't know. Is there any decision makers that that
Just
you
me, my
normally have
wife.
involved?
My wife's in it, but we talked together, but we decided I'm going to be the decision maker on this.
Oh man, good for you. Congratulations. I remember the last time I did a transaction without discussing things with my wife. Man, I was on the couch for 3 months, no food, no loving, no nothing.
Yeah, my
Man, I
first three
told
wives did the same thing.
you, and I totally understand. So with the price, I see you actually have it at 225. What's the best you can actually do if we can wrap it up next 30 days?
Next 30 days, is that a cash offer?
It's gonna be, it all depends on with the cash and etc. What's the best you can do if it's a cash?
Cash offer, I'll give it to you because I like you. 215.
And let me look at some figures. Well, like I mentioned, I'm an investor. And I totally understand. You say you're not looking towards no low ball, and and it's like if I go ahead and send you a lover, I'm just gonna be wasting our time. Well, I actually got another option. If it's okay, if it makes sense to you, we can actually move forward. Now, let's say we're able to give it a 215. Would you actually consider renting it for a few years and then selling it?
I could do that myself. Why do I need you?
No, and I totally understand. Well, to be honest, why don't you do it? Is it
I might,
have you
I
thought?
might, I might if I can't sell it.
Okay,
I
so it
might,
sounds like it's over.
unless you got a better offer, my man.
Look, well, Mitch, it sounds like it's over. Now that it's actually over, can I send you an offer?
For
Then we
215, you
get back.
can, sure. Don't waste
Okay,
my time with a low offer. You can. I'll put it with all the other yellow letters I get in my mailbox for 175.
okay, yeah, and I totally understand. I'll go ahead and send you an offer. I got your email, and then 30 days later, if things change, you can just give me a call.
Sounds like a fair move, my man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Tough cookie, man.
Good job,
Real
Jimmy.
tough.
Yeah,
Uh,
stuff.
I felt a little bit of the give and take. It was like a game of tug of war. First, he had you pulled this way, and then you pulled him back, and then he pulled you back. Who's gonna win? I don't know.
Yeah, it was a tough cookie.
I had a guy in Bakersfield who was just like that, by the way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
come across sellers just like that too. That's when I
yeah.
said, okay, I understand. Because right now he's probably not ready. He's not motivated. He's uptight. Just got to take time. Got to take time.
Smart. You
Yeah,
handled that well.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, when a guy's like that rough with me, sometimes I'll just right off the bat like that too, right there in the middle of the agenda, which is where you're trying to introduce yourself and set the roadmap, and he's already hitting you with, "You're not one of
Boom,
these
boom.
investors with the 60 cents on the dollar offer because I'm sick of these people and I already hate your guts." And it's just like, I'll stop the guy. I'll be like, "Oh man, I'm." It sounds like you've been through a bunch of stuff. If you're wanting to sell that house, I think I want to buy it, but I don't want you to be mean to me either. Have I offended you in some way?
Yeah, that's good.
You know, I'll just try to de-escalate that thing. You know,
That
if I
situation, yeah.
can.
Right.
When you call a guy and he's already like a 10, not on the motivation scale, like on the Richter scale, okay?
Right.
You know, you got to do something. And man, I love the way you handled that, Jimmy. You got a great style about you. You got a gift, man. And when you took your pause and you said, "Let me look at some numbers. Let me look at these numbers," and so believable, so believable. You had me 100% again this week convinced that you are who you say you are,
Correct.
and that you're genuine and sincere. That right there, to me, in my experience with homeowners, goes so much further than any slick thing you could say or magic trick you could pull out of your hat. You know.
Correct.
Congratulations on that, man. Round of applause.
Appreciate it.
It's great, man. All right, guys. We've been here for about an hour. We
Okay.
practiced up a little bit. We can call it a day if you want. I've got another call I got to hop on here. But loved it. Loved it. You
Appreciate
guys
it.
have any feedback, any questions, anything real quick before we call it a day? Anybody in the Zoom room? Anybody on YouTube or Facebook, maybe even? All right. All right,
No,
guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah, let's try to do this again next Friday. Is that
Okay.
cool? Maybe we'll just do a little role play Friday every Friday and, polish each other up. You know, I'd like to make my calls on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So this is great for me because I get to warm up a little bit before I go into picking up the phone. You know, you don't go to the gym and start doing busting out squats unless you warm up, right? You'll pull a hammy. And
Right.
so you definitely want to warm up, guys. This is a great way to warm up with other guys and gals too. So thanks everybody for being here. Love you guys, and we'll see you again next week, man. Good job, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon, okay?